The Upload VR Showcase Summer 2025. Why would people come away from watching it thinking VR is in a bad place? So what went wrong? Did something go wrong? So Upload VR's set of 25 trailers to show for upcoming VR games, and presumably the devs are proud enough to show these and say, hey, look at my work, look at my game I made, isn't it fun? Do you want to try it? Presumably with no ill will or intention. Everyone interested in promoting the VR industry and showing their work in the best possible light so that you want to play it and buy it. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, we've seen quite a lot of this stuff before. They're clones of simplistic looking shooters, and lots of games heavily influenced by other games. I'm looking at you of Lies of Marine and How to God, which is so much a clone of Black and White. It's anyway, it's blatant. And some flat games ported to VR, like Besiege, that I'm quite looking forward to. And so, what happened then? Why are the comments so full of like, oh well, I guess VR's in a bad place? So what happened? Did the devs fail? Yeah, possibly. If the game doesn't look graphically exciting or different, maybe they should have polished it more before putting it forward. So yeah, maybe the devs failed. Did Upload fail? Have Upload VR failed the VR industry? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. If they just put everything that they were offered into the video without curating it and just said there, then maybe they are partially responsible for this feeling. But what is Upload's remit here? Is the showcase, to fair? Is it to promote fairness? I.e., they'll just show anything, put it all in the showcase, and say, yeah, the customer could decide whether that's good or not, or whether they're interested or not, and give a shout out to any dev that's putting a trailer forward. Then yeah, I suppose that's fair. If they're impartial and they're just providing a platform to show everything, then I guess that's fair. Or is it Upload's remit to forward the VR industry as a whole and promote it? In which case, should they have been more proactive and politely tell some of the devs that their trailer isn't good enough to promote VR in the state that's in, with some tough love, and make a tighter showcase of games that are actually going to impress people, and therefore promote VR as a whole. And someone maybe stumbling across it who's outside of the loop can be impressed, and maybe people that are in the loop can actually be excited. So maybe in these days of short attention spans, perhaps they should have considered that as a possibility. Or, and here's the third thing, maybe they need to split the showcase into PC VR games, PSVR 2 games, and Quest games. Because do we have to address the ugly elephant in the room? The low poly elephant in the room. the quest only elephant in the room. That's getting very much judged in the comments, I think. So maybe they should be their own thing. Maybe we should have the top 20 low quality, low effort quest upcoming Quest games for summer 2025. I don't know. So let's have a look at some of the comments and my take on those comments, which I put in there. So we'll go through some of that. So let's look at some of these comments. I know it isn't Upload VR's fault, but VR devs got to step it up if they're making the same crap over and over again with uninspired gameplay and graphics. VR has so much potential. Thanks, now I have 2 games to add to my wish list. Looks more like the hyper-casual section of the mobile market showcase. VR is becoming a dumping ground. Where are the PSVR 2 games? I thought 2025 would be the year of VR. Well, no, this showcase was quite depressing. The last couple of showcases have been meh. So Just Reach then. Pretty meh showcase. No wonder VR is dying. Glad I got a Switch 2 now. Holy crap, new VR games truly suck. This is sad. I guess I'm going to be stuck with the VR conversions of flat games for a while still. How come we get low FPS garbage featured? Like, holy shit, the quality is a low bar. No wonder Meta's not going to produce a new VR headset. I don't mean this as a joke at all. Not a disparity to devs, but we need more JRPGs. Yeah, VR is regressing. Pretty much presentation was scuffed games. A lame year for VR, yawn. By 2020, we already had games like Astrobot, Half-Life Alyx, Superhot, Moss, Lone Echo, Sprint Vector, The Room VR, Saints and Sinners, Population 1, etc. I feel VR has made no progress at all in the last 5 years. It's such a shame. I really wish more people were into VR and the devs were incentivized to make higher quality VR games. VR is in a pretty bad place right now. I think VR needs to tone down this casual quest only, VR only approach to games. VR needs support on PCVR with big and renowned games. They need to show gamers that they could enjoy their favourite game in a more immersive way. They will never convince the majority of gamers to try VR if most games are clumsy games with old graphics that require standing up. Simulators would be a good starting point. So I felt I had to reply to that one because he was talking about simulators and that would be a good place to start. And I was like, well, hang on a minute. We've already got those. So my response was, I'm slightly confused because a lot of simulators are already in VR on PC and we have been for 8 or 9 years. We got Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, 2024, DCS, War Thunder, Assetto Corsa Competizione, Project Cars 2, Dirt Rally, Elite Dangerous, Star Wars Squadron, Space Docker, Euro Truck Simulator, American Truck Simulator, F1 2022, F1 2023, F1 2024, F1 2025, iRacing, VTOL, Iron Wolf, Iron Rebellion, etc., etc. There's a lot of simulator games that support VR on PC. We already have them. So saying it's a good place to start, we've already had that. We've already got those. Right, and so this is where I'm sort of to think, well, hang on a minute. Is VR really in a bad place? Or have we just forgotten all the things we already got? Or maybe people don't even know about this. This is what slightly concerns me. Do people not know these things exist? Is that where the problem is? Like, people watch the Upload showcase, VR showcase, and they don't know the stuff that they've already got. So maybe we need like a recap of like 10 years of VR, what you can already do. I don't know, but it seemed really odd to me that he said like, we should start with simulators. We've had simulators for 10 years nearly in VR. We've got them, and the new ones are coming out all the time as well. So there's like a new Assetto Corsa that's in early access right now. So yeah, and I was like, so you know, for driving, space, flight simulators, mech battles, people want to play those kinds of games. If you have a PC, a gaming PC on a Quest with Air Link or virtual desktop, you already can do it. Or you can use a high-end VR headset and you can already do it. And that's a great way of playing those games. And yes, that's a thing. It's already a thing. So it's not something we should start with. We already have that. So when you say, okay, VR is in a bad place, are we just forgetting? We just sweep all of history under the carpet, like we can't still play those games. Of course we can. Of course we can. All right. So, and I go on to say that that you can make it on PC. You put all the peripherals on, wheels and pedals and HOTASes and motion sims and all that kind of thing. And PC VR is pretty sorted for sims. And then I said, well, I love PSVR 2 and play that a lot. Not many of the devs have gone back to rework their games to support PSVR2 for simulators, but that's probably because they need to rework completely to incorporate dynamic variated rendering, because GT7 uses that. And I said GT7 is very good. It supports a lot of peripherals, and you can even link it to motion simulators with a PC. And I said I've done that already on my channel. And I said one more thing, and if you have high-end PC, you can also play a lot of flat games that don't officially support VR in VR using UEVR and UEVR. And that's, you know, how I play Aliens, Fireteam Elite, and Art of Rally and things like that. And then someone said, up here, someone said, yeah, PSVR 2 is where the real AAA games are at. Like the Resident Evil games and Hitman. And they're better anything on Quest or PCVR. And I do take a little bit of exception to that. Although, my channel is full of PSVR 2, obviously. And it's a big part of what I do. And I say, while I play PSVR 2 almost exclusively, and it's a great way to play high quality VR games with a really sort of set of haptics, and it's easy to set up and stream from. I'm under no illusion that if you want to play AAA games like VR, like Hogwarts or Cyberpunk or Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever, you can mod these into VR with a PC. I choose to play in PSVR 2 because I like it, and I don't have to spend a lot of my game time faffing with mods. But if you really want to play your favourite AAA game in VR, you have to spend thousands of dollars. Then PC has the power and flexibility to force that game you want to play into VR. And while I love GT7, RE4 and Village, Behemoth, Rogue Incursion, Arcanage and all that on PSVR 2, PC has pretty much any game that's developed on Unreal Engine or Unity is now playable in VR via mods. While I love those PSVR 2 games, I'm not sure it's true that there isn't anything on PC that could beat them, provided you have thousands to spend. So that is really what I'm getting at here. So did the Upload VR showcase fail, and is VR in a bad place? I don't think VR is in a bad place. It might be that the Upload VR showcase didn't do a great job of promoting VR. But I don't think VR is in a bad place in 2025. And here's my evidence for that. Okay, so we have UUVR and UEVR, and they are getting much easier to use. It's not quite got to the point where a VR headset is like plugging in a different monitor. We haven't got that point. I really thought we were going to get to that point, that it was going to be so straightforward that VR games would just run like you plug in a different kind of monitor. We're not there. We're getting closer. There's tools like RiPal, which auto-detect your Unreal Engine and Unity games and make it very simple to one-click mod those into VR. And you've also got like Flat to VR Discord server, which you can go to and pick up community profiles for those games that mean that the mods give you motion controls and all kinds of things like that. And there are specific mods for some games which you can search for that give you motion controls and completely overhaul the game as if it was made for VR. So that is a thing. And you also got Flat to VR Studios that they're trying their best to take some good flat games and make them into VR games. So that's a good thing. So as far as PC goes, we're in a fairly good place. As far as PSVR 2 goes, we're also in a fairly good place. There have been some good games come out recently. Quite a lot of games, and it comes to the point where you're like, okay, which game am I going to buy this month of these 2 or 3 that I like the look of? So, again, we're in a good place. I've got a backlog. So, that's true. And then on PCVR, obviously, you've got a massive backlog. So, when the guy says something like, well, we should start with simulators, well, go and play the 9 or 10 or 15 simulators I've just mentioned first, and then any new ones that come out. Go ahead. And they're always improving as well, because there are mods for those. Different cars, different tracks. And you go to Assetto Corsa, you can like completely mod the game to make it graphically fantastic if your PC can run it. So yeah, although again, so those games already exist. So does the VR showcase take away from those? No, they're just additional games. It might be that there's now a morass of low quality games that you have to sift through to find the good games, but that doesn't mean the good games aren't there. They're still there. You just need to know where to look for them. And it seems to me that a lot of people are either forgetting or don't know that these good games actually already exist, and they're just looking at this showcase going, oh, rubbish, 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 rubbish. Oh, I quite like the look of that one. Rubbish, 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 rubbish. And they think VR's in trouble. But really it isn't, because all those existing games already exist, and anything you're seeing here is just adding to that list. So yeah, it might be that there's a lot of morass of rubbish that you don't like or that you're not interested in, but yeah, okay, ignore those. So it's up to Upload whether they should curate this more. If they think that they're actually not promoting VR by doing what they're doing currently, and they're not taking devs aside and saying, no, look, really, in order to get onto the VR showcase, it's got to be better than this. You know, we have a bar now, because we can afford to be picky, and the devs have got to realise that as well. That people have backlogs in just VR games now, and it isn't going to be enough to expect people to buy everything, because they won't. They can't. They don't have time to play everything. Right? I've noticed this, that the channels that I follow, that they might be specific to one platform, do not have enough time to review all the games now. Right? They're not going to fully review all the games now. There are too many. And so that means they are going to curate based on the ones that they are going to run. All right? They're the ones that are going to play. And maybe they won't even play fully through games that turn out to be not good. And so they won't review them. And that's fine. And I think the devs should realise that they now have competition. And especially in the PC space, they also have competition from flat games. So as far as games concerned, there have always been loads. Now there's even more. And it's even perhaps harder to find what the good ones are. But they do all exist. And so it's up to you as a person, or me as content creator, to try and guide you, maybe, or you know, all content creators or people in the VR space, to guide you to what the good games are, and away from the trash. You know, so are Upload right in showing everything? That's a question for Upload VR, isn't it? Clearly, from the comments, maybe they chose badly, and they should have either split them, as I say, into the different categories, or been more selective, or you know, some tough love to the devs and say, hang on, no, you can't be showing a low frame rate piece of demo footage and expect people to be impressed by that. Do not do this. You're doing yourself a disservice, and like tarnishing the whole of the Upload showcase and maybe the whole of VR industry. So don't do that. Can't afford to do that, perhaps. And then you can say, well, okay, what about hardware? Are we in trouble there? Some people saying, oh, no wonder Meta is moving away from VR hardware. But I don't think they are. I don't think they are. Or they wouldn't be developing new games for it. And I think there's some things to be positive, especially in the PCVR space. We've had like 5 headsets this year. So if that's not a resurgence, I don't know what it is. Some new technology is coming along as well that is going to improve form factor and resolution. They're expensive, I'll give you that. But we've had Pimax Crystal Super, Pimax Crystal Super Ultra Wide, Pimax Crystal Super OLEDs coming, Pimax Dream Air, so that's 4 from one company. We've got the Meganex Ultralight. We've got the Big Screen Beyond 2. We've got PSVR 2 controllers coming to Apple Vision Pro. That turns that into a gaming headset suddenly. So that micro OLED Apple Vision Pro suddenly becomes like a PC VR gaming headset now. So this is all, and then we've got news that Google's probably re-entering the space, and we've got some other high-end headsets coming as well. Climax Stream Air's coming. So yeah. Oh yeah, there's the other one, isn't there? Play for Dream as well. So those are like new headsets, new smaller form factors, new technology. Sony's developed those micro OLED panels, so maybe a PSVR 3 will have micro OLED panels in it if they can scale it. Production in about 4 or 5 years, that might be suddenly cheap to produce. And you've got Valve's headset on the horizon as well. They clearly look like they're going for something that is going to run games. So maybe they're going to make it as simple as making VR like another monitor. That would be the things that I think the VR industry should be looking towards now, are making every game playable in VR as if the VR headset was just another monitor, but put you in the game. Now with UUVR and UEVR, it's almost there. It's not quite there. You really need those the mods and the community profiles to be part of Steam. Like a one button, put this in VR, this is the best curated mod profile, and this is the best mod. Like, oh, I see you're playing in VR. Did you want to play in full VR? One button finds you the best community profile, the best mod, puts it straight in VR, no thinking about it at all, you're there. Steam could do that. If that is what they're planning, then brilliant. VR is suddenly in a good place, is it not? It already was, but in a better place. The other thing I would like to see happen is pressure to be put on the anti-cheat companies, like Battle, I can't remember what they're called, but the anti-cheat companies, the online anti-cheat companies, put pressure on those to not exclude VR mods from anti-cheat, such that you can play like Dune Awakening or something in VR without fear of getting banned. So that's the other thing I would like to see pressure put on. I would like to see pressure put on the anti-cheat people that this isn't cheating. This is like trying to play the game with a different monitor, and that's all. So I would like to see some pressure put on there. And if you've got those two things, like a one-click into VR for any game through Steam, like they could create, like the way they've got a list of all the Steam Deck approved compatible games. They could have a list of the VR approved compatible games where they've curated the mods or created or used UEVR, UEVR, built that in, and also the best community profile, and you just press play it in VR and it just does it. That would make everyone use Steam, wouldn't it? So hopefully, maybe that's what the Valve Decade is going to do. Hopeful. But yes, I don't think VR is in a bad place at all. I think VR is in a good place, and it could be about to get a lot better. So take heart. Don't take the Upload VR showcase as the be-all and end-all of what's happening in VR. We've got good software already existing, good hardware. It's in a good place. All right, cheers. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.